Hi there. So, welcome to Dyspraxia Dialogues. And today we have Helen from York. Helen is a therapist, and we've been working together on a research chapter recently about dyspraxia and therapy. But I've just got Helen here to answer a few questions. Okay. So, Helen, can you tell me about your experience of finding out that you have dyspraxia?
Yeah, of course. So I think it's been really a gradual understanding that I've come to. I think growing up, I had no idea about dyspraxia at all. I didn't come across it or know what it was. And I think that, so as a result of that, like all the struggles I had, I just thought they were my fault, really. And then I think it was really during therapy training. So I qualified last year. So in the past kind of 5 years or so, I started finding out more about neurodivergence generally. Um, and that included dyspraxia, but I never really had thought about dyspraxia in relation to myself until, like, I guess reading about it, hearing about other people's experiences, and then things started to click kind of gradually over time. Started Things started to make sense, if you like. And um I don't have a diagnosis actually, because like the only way to get it really is through a private assessment. And so I've been going through, I guess, recently this process of like, can I really allow myself to use this label? And I think it's very common to feel a kind of imposter syndrome about that, especially with like self-diagnosis. But so
Okay.
yeah, I think that maybe I've come to see that imposter syndrome part as like being protective of me in a way, but there are
Mm.
other parts of me that know and trust my like lived experience. So kind of that's where I am with it at the moment, but I guess it's ongoing thinking and reflection.
Yeah, so you really recognize the reality of your experiences, and when you've been speaking to other people who have dyspraxia, that really clicked for you.
Yeah.
And there was this sense of, oh, is am I an imposter? Can I say that I have this without the
Mm.
diagnosis? But I think that's really important that you've brought that up because it's still something that is underdiagnosed. I would say that there's probably so many people out there like you who are thinking, oh, I think maybe I have this thing, but oh, I'm not diagnosed, and how can I then refer to myself in
Yeah.
relation to this? So thank you for that.
Yeah, that resonates. And I guess
Mm.
it's also about like community and belonging, that a diagnosis can bring you that. And if you kind of can allow yourself to use the label, you can like access that as well, if you like.
Absolutely. Community and belonging. And yes, somehow the label creates that doorway to that
Mm.
access to those places of belonging. And can you, I wonder about provision in terms of any support, any information, any resources that there are, or places to even belong with this. I don't know about your particular area in the UK, but
Yeah. It's strange because I haven't even really thought about how to get support. It's just it's kind of almost a given, like that's not available. So I
right.
have to like support myself with it, or I can talk to my therapist, or um yeah, I guess like find ways myself on social media. Or but it seems like I just have an understanding that there's no official kind of channels of support. I think I mentioned to you before about like asking my GP about diagnosis, and he just really just laughed because that's not available for in my area for like children, let alone adults.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I remember that the comment. I don't know if you mind me sharing, but it was a really like striking example of the lack of awareness that you'd be more likely to, well, a sheep would be more likely to get diagnosed than
In
a
In rural North Yorkshire, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and just that joke was made so flippantly
Yeah.
about something you were bringing that was actually really a serious request.
Mm.
Yeah, that really brought it home to me again how little awareness there is out there of what this means for people to have dyspraxia and how actually significant that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So, in terms of that, I'm wondering about how it affects you day to day. How would you describe your dyspraxia?
Yeah. Um, so I guess lots of people think about the physical side of dyspraxia initially. And like, I do think that I have some physical struggles, like um, just even walking on uneven surfaces. Like, I find that actually quite difficult. And um, yeah, I've had a few falls and things. So I have to like take care and like really concentrate when I'm doing that. Um, Another physical one is that I tend to like hold my body very tightly when I'm trying to coordinate. And like over the years, that's meant that I have like a lot of pain in my neck and shoulders and back, a lot of tension. And I'm trying to work now to like find ways of releasing that. Um, I guess the other big thing is driving, which it took me a really long time to pass my test. That was quite difficult. I failed it a lot of times. And I've driven like on and off over the years, but at the moment I'm not driving. I think, I don't know, like as I got older, maybe perimenopause, I find my spatial awareness is not quite as good. And that can
Mm,
be quite scary, especially around parking and things. So I like lost my confidence really with driving. Um,
mm,
and yeah, and like I remember kind of even, you know, I suppose after failing my test so many times, like I spent a long time like beating myself up about my driving skills. Like, why can't I do this? That's had a really big impact.
mm.
Um,
For me, driving as well has always been a massive struggle. After not managing to learn in a manual, I passed in an automatic, but I never found myself confident or feeling
yeah,
overly safe doing it. So I just, yeah, I don't really do it anymore. And yeah, that's been a difficult thing to accept. But I think what you're saying about you've listed kind of at least three physical struggles that you have day to day that people
mm,
might just not know about when they hear the word dyspraxia. People,
yeah,
you know, more people might be familiar with, oh, it's about hand-eye coordination or clumsiness or something like that, or but they might not appreciate just how many areas of day-to-day life it can affect, even just physically. But as we know, it's more than just a physical
yeah, yeah,
condition.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And there are a few other areas that aren't like, kind of physical that I could share as well.
That'd be really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I suppose multitasking feels difficult, especially if it involves some kind of coordination thing. I can't, for example, I don't know, do certain things and then hold a conversation at the same time or listen to someone. I think people who know me well realize I'm not being rude. I just completely ignore them when I'm doing
Not
something.
able to. Yeah. Yes.
So there's that. And then um like I guess organization. It's funny because people think that I'm really organized, but I do struggle a lot with it. And I think over the years I've developed strategies, but they can just fall apart at a moment's notice. The kind of planning, scheduling, organizing, it feels like it needs a lot of my effort.
Yeah,
That resonates with you as well.
definitely, definitely. Just everything takes that little bit more effort, I think.
Yeah,
Um, and planning, yeah, it's so much more than just one, two, three. Okay, I'm sorted. It's
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Wow, thank
Yeah.
you.
There's also the emotional impact, maybe to mention, if that's all.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I think that um, I guess it's things around how I've developed my image of myself and my body,
yeah.
like of the frustration with my body not doing what I want it to do. And
Mm.
I suppose um, a big part of that for me has been about awkwardness. I felt myself quite awkward.
Awkward.
Um,
Mm.
and I think that's made worse by like me being embarrassed about being awkward. It kind of makes it
Mm. There's
magnifies it.
self-conscious with it as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. And I guess recently I've been thinking about, well, like what's wrong with being awkward actually? And
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
yeah, trying to maybe own it a little bit more. I think that is a work in progress, and some days I like get closer to that than others. But
Mm.
yeah, just trying to um yeah, find ways of, I suppose behind all of this kind of self-consciousness is the worry about being mocked or made fun of, which was perhaps a yeah, it was an experience when I was younger.
Yeah,
And I
me too.
suppose yeah, that's just so hard.
Mm.
But if you own something, then I don't think people can, like, it doesn't have that power, kind of
Yes.
that power over you anymore.
Yeah, like almost we have the right to call ourselves awkward, clumsy. Like
Yeah.
I remember I found a Baby Yoda meme, which was "I'm not clumsy, I'm majestically awkward," and I just loved
Oh,
it.
I love that.
But yeah, I can own that. Maybe
Yeah,
I can laugh at that in a nice way. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think yeah, the emotional part is real, and um yeah, finding ways to navigate
mm,
that and
mm,
finding ways into self-kindness. I
yeah.
think that's really important.
Self-compassion, yeah, if you spent so many years kind of just being frustrated with yourself as I have kind of with my body and things, yeah, that's really important. Thank you for your perspectives. I was just wondering if there's anything regarding like you talk about owning dyspraxia. Is there anything that feels particularly like I can be proud of this, this is a strength?
Yeah, I think so. Um, the things that come to mind are like I suppose I've had to or yeah, develop qualities like patience, and it takes me longer to learn things or acquire skills, resilience, determination. Some people would say stubborn.
Okay.
But
Determined though,
yeah,
yeah.
I think they're good qualities.
Yeah.
Um, and maybe creative thinking as well, because I think that I need to sometimes find different ways to go about things, or different ways I can participate if I don't want to do a kind of team sport or whatever it is. Um, and maybe the other part is about um, empathy.
Mm.
And I think that's probably come out of some of my experiences of being dyspraxic.
Mm. That's a whole lot of really positive qualities that you've listed there. That, you know, maybe without the dyspraxia, would I have these things? There's a
Mhm.
question that comes up for me as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I have to ask the question: would I change this really? Yeah. So, yeah, the final question I ask everyone really is what would be the one thing that you'd want the whole world to know about dyspraxia?
Hmm. One thing. Um, maybe I want to say, like, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and the struggles are real.
Yes.
Like maybe asking for asking for it to be taken seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a really heartfelt request. Could we
Mm,
just be taken seriously with this because it
yeah.
is real? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Thank you so much for your time today and really helpful information. I hope it will help some people out there.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, it's been great to chat. Thanks,
Thank you so
Catherine.
much, Helen. Bye.
Bye.